Hi, my friends and family, and today I've got an intense talk for you. I'm going to talk about why the Dark Lords can't win the war now. War! Bad gods! What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again, y'all. War! Bad gods! Now! What the flunk is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Why the Dark Lords can't win the war now. You know, there's a saying about Irish people, and I believe I'm half Irish. And that's that Irish people are the most depressing people if you bring up politics and you want to talk about what's happening right now. I don't know who said the saying, but they're the most optimistic when it comes to the future. And this is probably, part of the reason why I feel this way, having the Celtic in my blood. So if you take a cursory view of history, say you've watched only about 15 of my videos and you don't really know anything else but whatever your pathetic mainstream high school history class told you, you may have grasped my Cliff's Notes version of ancient history, and you know what, folks? As Sean Bond has said, the dark side had to steal all of their power. They stole it all from the very beginning. They are heartless. They don't feel the connection to the sacred divine feminine Christ Sophia anymore because Lucifer lost that when he became a narcissistic psychopath killer a long time ago. And that's why people who suffer from that can't feel it. Whereas Christ is all heart. Okay? From the very beginning of this globe, the divine Gaia was designed to be a free will planet. And that is why the dark brotherhood of the snakes in the days of Atlantis is what it was called to begin with, have always had to convene in strict secrecy and do all of their demon bonding and horrible ritualistic abuse and all in between in the shadows. It's essential for their formula to work. Yes, the secret societies did grow up a massive power, especially through the Elohim or Anunnaki gods, and later the rise of the extreme vampires known as the Khazarian Mafia, which later took part in creating the Illuminati and infiltrating in the Freemasons. Yes, Lucifer and his crews did a magnificent job building their gradually inverted, sickened slavery and vampire-based societies, but it's over. Because you see, when you have no heart and people realize it, and again, that our original creator is all heart, it just doesn't get to, at least in those households or those friend groups, it doesn't work. CBDC will fail because, again, it has nothing to do with respect. If it had anything to do with respect, maybe it could, work for some. And I'm not giving you hopium. I did want to make my long hair look like Mr. T. Yes, the white hats are a huge fake-ass psyop, like pretty much everything Q said, that Mr. T has been rescuing everything from behind the scenes when they did Operation Warp Speed and busting up and jailing all these deep state elite pedophiles. But there is a real white hat group in the military and in the government. Some say people in the Navy, like Dan Willis, for example, and citizenry and audience even of this video, okay? Because it is you who will risk it. It was you to listen to people like me and watch shows like this. It is you who will listen to me. It is you who will uphold morality and respect in your social lives. Yes, it is true. It is true. People still do that. Can you believe it? It is true. It is true what Cliff High said, that the ancient Jews were tortured so badly and rewarded so covertly by the Elohim junior gods that they got a massive Stockholm syndrome. Okay, it's not a joke. I'm not making fun of it. It's a very serious problem. Even embedded in their, in their neuroticism and hidden in the rabbis' secret rituals today, because, they want to be good. Everyone wants to be respectful and good, or at least on the surface, to avoid conflict. Again, it's the fake morality that has caused all the harm to humans to begin with. So, like even the idea of a chosen race could only come from these racist junior gods. Okay, so they had Stockholm syndrome, and yes, the Catholic Church succeeded to take over the West Coast of USA through their barbaric conquistadores, conquest, threat, and fear-based plundering and looting of all who would not be convert to Catholicism overnight amongst the California native tribes, murdering all the rest under the 1493 canon law called the Doctrine of Discovery, which, in the USA, and Supreme Court Judge John Marshall, who we get the cliche, we get the gnarly term martial law from this guy, okay? He, in 1823, he said, oh yeah, the doctrine of discovery, manifest destiny. This is legitimate, man. This is the American way, and obviously the Dark Lords were already in control to some degree back then. So, to make this guy able to do that shit. So, and as I've said, about 7 years ago or 8 years ago now, 3 different mainstream Bible-thumping Christian denominations repudiated this, and I just was looking at the Wikipedia page about this today, and guess what? In 2023, the Vatican itself repudiated the fucking icky shit, okay? The Vatican, okay? So rejoice, Californians, for it won't be too long in the next couple of years when they can't force you to work 3 or 4 jobs 7 days a week for your box. Because you know what? Like I say, how many of your landlords are the descendants of the conquistadores? Okay. So rejoice, Californians, for as the psychological war ends, you might not have to be wage slaves that many more, a couple more years after this or whatever. It just depends if they can keep everybody doing it. Yes, Lucifer dumbed us down by unplugging at least 11 strands of our DNA. I mean, this is a powerful, DNA tinkerer we got that people think is God in the dark way. And later, by forcing most humans to feel the need to become a cell phone bot. I mean, I see these super hot, attractive, fertile 30, 25, 40-year-old women or 50-year-old women walking along the Greenway here in Charleston. It's like, are they walking their cell phones? It looks like they're walking their cell phones, man. And this one beautiful 30-year-old girl, she had a pouch, but she was still walking her cell phone. I'm going to make a whole video about this shit. And so, people that walk their cell phones, man. She couldn't put it in that pouch. So IQs went down around 30 points since most people have had these damn things in their hands all the time. In the last 20 years, the IQ points on average on the planet wide, and the studies have shown have gone down 30 points. Yes, they even terrorize more than half the planet to take the insane needle nanotech experiment to be made into humans 2.0. Yes, they figured out in the year 325 how to turn Christianity, or those who obeyed or followed the teachings of Yeshua, the Master, into what we think of as it now, turning Christianity into the sick, inverted, exoteric death cult of the cross, and supplicating salvationism that it became. Humans giving their precious, sacred, divine energy for these sick junior male gods to rescue them. But it is now getting exposed by people like me. It's getting exposed, okay? The real peaceful God is Christ Sophia in the respectful, ensouled humans' hearts. Every person you know who is able to, especially if they're able to be sovereign, but even just those who are somewhat stuck in the wheel on some level with finances or whatever, in whatever chakra they might be still stuck, if they can respond to you, with respect, with peace, then they bring the emanation, okay? You don't have to believe in any dogma to feel her love in your heart. It's a matter of vibrational frequency. If you know inherently that you want to offer primarily to others, offer respect in your vibration, then you will begin to understand what her love is truly about. So you see, to create the matrix and inverted society, our junior male gods and patriarchal churches and governments had to look. They had to break the real law of this planet, the Earth. They had to break the real law of human society originally in this planet to do all this, which is free will. They had to break the fundamental law. Lucifer and all these governments and all these churches had to break the fundamental law of free will to accomplish all this garbage, all these wars, all this atrocious trauma and terror, trauma bonding. Okay? They had to break the law of the land and the spirit, imposing the man-made maritime admiralty law, which is what it's called here in the USA, or in other words, judicial pirates code. This is what our baristas study. This is why you have to stand up before someone in a black robe if you get caught breaking the law. Like the Discovery Doctrine, but now even the Pope says that the Discovery Doctrine is illegitimate, folks, so it's over, man. Yes, they will continue escalating the violence of the medical mafia, WHO mandates, or trying to, and trashing your souls if possible if you watch the mainstream media. Yes, they will continue the weather warfare, flooding, fires, and all the things they do to children ritualistically, as well as child sex change operations in California. If one parent can bring the child over state lines, that's how sick they are. And all of the ritual abuse will continue as long as people put up with it, as long as people turn the other way. All of the multifarious forms of powerful mind control and slavery will continue. For over half of us are done. Until over half of us are done. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with the needle tech experiment, but until the aggregate, or over half of the human population, is done with this filthy way of life, it's going to continue. You see, the dark side is sterile and worthless when it comes to what matters most, which is self-respect, morality, and love, awareness, allowing the flowering, the blossoming of the human queendom, allowing to have respect for the planet, this divine globe, allowing to have respect for the freedom of each soul to choose what they are going to do. That is the real, original, and future human nature. Okay? It's not a joke. There is a reason why sororities in college, especially, and fraternities, and the Marines and their basic training of the Marines, and the medical schools have to do all of those gross rituals and to beat you down and dehumanize you, or in the case of the MDs, to make you think you're so far above people that you can poison them and get rich, and it's all good because you're better than them. Dehumanize you to prepare you to be a ruler over the human's health, as you know, in any obedient MD in 2020, and 2020 exposed how low the dark controllers can go in their externally extremely lubricated, well orchestrated takeover plans. But Mark Passio is both wrong and right in regard to my offering today, from my opinion. Okay, as a teenager, he started a death metal band, and he was a poor Leo in Philadelphia. He still is, and he joined the Church of Satan. He joined the Satanic Temple of Philadelphia, and he became a high priest, and he rose in the ranks so high that Anton LaVey invited him to the main group where the heads of these churches and mainstream media locals would convene, and he kind of got turned off by it, and he quit and spent the next 17 years informing us about their different mind control operations, about how satanic mind control works with the mainstream media, for example, and how it is done with the mainstream media giving you idiotic concepts like, for example, moral relativity, which is obviously the basis for war and child rape. It's okay in some countries, or it's okay for certain reasons, like if you're in the military. But, you know, if you can't kill another person if you're not in the military for it to be moral, right? And what's worse is they spread solipsism amongst the uninitiated. It's the stupidest belief ever. I'm so insecure I can't be sure if anyone else exists. Okay? So, Mark Passio is wrong probably because due to his past as a high Satanist priest that now has studied mind control, he says that humans are neither good nor evil, but a programmable object, flesh suit with a brain. Now he's a screaming vegan, and YouTube took off all his chat and comments. So he's literally been screaming at us that we're losing the war. You know, and I think it's partially because he's vegan. He's is he a little bit of a double agent? He's wrong in this because his very extensive research did not, even though he did a lot of great research, it didn't go back far enough to the original divine human being. Okay, the original divine Christ races were on this planet of free will a long time, probably a long time. They were here on the planet before Lucifer's narcissism even blew him up to the point of severing his relationship to his mother and brother. Maybe even before he was born. Maybe we were here before Lucifer was ever born. And it's something everyone needs to think about, okay? The Christ races in the Irish can be like a fighting spirit that's, according to Lisa Renee, is found in some of the Celtic race, okay? And but it is a spirit that fights for freedom, like Braveheart. It fights tyranny. Mark is correct, however, on the other hand, Mark Passio is correct when he says what is immoral is any action that does harm to another sentient being. That is for sure true. Thus, the junior male gods and their 1% criminal robber baron doggies basically cannot win World War III. Even if they destroy our bodies, you know, with self-replicating nanotech colonies and the planet, because there are still a few hundred or thousand or tens of thousands, I'm not sure exactly how many, not churchians as Passio called them, but real Christ I ams, if you want, if you will, people that are aware of what the actual spirit of the Creator is like, living in peace and respect for divinity, respecting that freedom of will within all of us. Perhaps like the Quakers, I'm not sure, if you consider that in that form, possibly. All the king's AI, planes, bombs, weapon, and men cannot put Lucifer's self-love back together again until, I don't know, maybe a few more millions of years in the future, and tortures and wars, or whatever, he'll turn around. I mean, I think everyone, that's how much of a crazy optimist I am. I mean, I think pretty much every spirit, even the reptilians, the Anunnaki, could turn around and stop being slave masters if they got their head out of their ass, if they use their intelligence for something besides, controlling others. Again, when humanity sees the means, if they eat the Soylent Green, if they proceed as humans 2.0 slaves or even sleepers, it is a short-lived, victorious sacrifice. It takes a lot of blood to appease and please these black hole sun gods, because they have no self-love, and they're hungry, the biggest hungry ghost ever. As Buddhists call them hungry ghosts, but Lucifer's the biggest hungry ghost ever, man. No self-respect or morality at all. It only seems to work if they can convince the majority to accept the inversions. They can assassinate, target, implant, or sicken those even like myself, willing to risk it all to share the real good news. How much suffering do you need? How much more masochism do I have to put myself through, and even being afraid? Because the good news is, just like the Bible thumpers used to say, and that was one of the names of one of their Bibles. The good news is that the second coming of Christ means and compels, and through attrition warfare, the dark side can seem to force us to be responsible. On the other hand, I try to use their tools against them, or use what the devil does to try to destroy me to make me stronger. Is 2024 the year where they force me to be responsible? Well, it might just be that. They can use slavery, disease, and pestilence to shove narcissistic personality disorder almost everywhere these days. But again, we are finally learning how to defeat that as a species. This is why I talk about psychology, because I don't want this to come to a blood and shoot 'em up and, strangling war here. Because obviously, frankly, the age of Aquarius is the age of enlightenment. And they flunked out when they didn't censor the internet already. Maybe that's why they can have so much more communism in China than they can here, because they did censor the internet already there. Frankly, the age of Aquarius is the age of enlightenment, where not just gurus, but many, many folks who have time and energy and stamina to do the research and know how to learn will have access to so much gnosis. It shines the light of Christ Sophia on all beings, all actions and words, all intent. And we can even see how well y'all secret manipulators try to control the internet, but you cannot win. Because in the real second coming, the age of light, humanity sooner or later, through war or refusal to see anyone as an inner me or not me, not Z's, as Indigo Angel pointed out, like Klaus Schwab, will be known to be blind or not sees. They cannot see. They're blind to the true spiritual reality within, that the Christ notion of in Lakesh, as Yeshua would have always told you what the Mayan said, I am another you. It's not a joke. It's not a figure of speech. Or I am another you. Nobody will obey the fallen's false light of the phony, sicko, false light bearer, God Lucifer. Shit, even during the lockdowns, several Navy SEALs sued the government for trying to make them take the experiment. One thing I learned from Mark, and the law of one says it's about your personality, and it's questionable that was, a truism that was put in by this questionable channeled source. But and Mark Passio said it's the aggregate, the outer humanity itself has, and this is one of the main reasons I broadcast. I want to help tip the scales so that over even if it's pennies in the bottom of a bucket, so that over 50% of humanity is persuaded to be self-respectful and treat others with respect and peace. Because in 2020 we saw the false reality of the fear-based lockdowns, and several Navy SEALs sued the government for trying to make them take the experiment. 8,700 Los Angeles firefighters sued for $2.3 million each, I believe, as well, but they lost, unfortunately. Ron DeSantis, for trying to make him take the shot. Ron DeSantis fought the evil mandates through the Supreme Court and actually successfully got the making the mandate, that's the insane law of forcing you to wear a mask on public planes, trains, and automobiles. As I've said before, the first thing I did is rode the Amtrak up to the hot spring in Colorado a few weeks after that, 2021. The real white hats are not hidden, okay? Get it straight, folks. Not Q. The real original creator is everywhere. There is a quiet knowing, a peace, love, and self-respect. Self-respect is the law. And this circumvents and overpowers the insanity of war. Period. There's a reason every narcissist will not take these ideas seriously, and most of the ones in my life won't even watch these shows. And that's because they've accepted the false persona of Lucifer as who they are. It's sad and sick and pathetic all at once. But it's how powerful and popular it's become. Okay? And it's destroyed the ability for many, many people in the freedom, the anarchist, the truther, the disclosure movement to form healthy good side battles, and made them want to project it onto me, because I'm still getting over that myself. Yet in the original human race and within this gnosis, finally getting reacquainted with itself and respected, knowing again, just as it is in nature, peace and respect of others will be known to be part of the original law of free will on planet Earth. And our nature is about 96% peaceful at that point. Okay? That is the real future. Not this planet of the digital slaves, or at least not for those of you who are willing to assert your rights to create that future, at least for the timeline where 51% of humanity is with me on this. We have all the protests in Europe. We have people all around the world contesting the bullshit of the false gods. Okay? Will they succeed? Will they not succeed? Will they be triumphant in this insane psychological and physical war over planet Earth and human souls? I believe there's a possibility, and I want to be part of that. And again, this is not hopium. This is the reality if you look at the big picture, beyond all of the mind control, all the belittlement, all of the infantilization and garbage beliefs that the deceivers and the Decepticons minions have tried to cram down us through war, torture, and rape, and pillage, and plunder, and all that. Below and before and after that, humans are a peaceful species. Because when you have gnosis, you don't have the stupidity of the reptile brain controlling you. I love you, my family, and if you enjoyed this, if you haven't already, click subscribe. And if you have the courage, create a great one.